Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing a video talking about The Walking Dead Season 4 and talking about some of my expectations. Okay, so not necessarily doing like a what I want to see video, because I've already done that, talking about Season 4, what I want to see. Not necessarily doing like a predictions video, but just things that I expect to see in order for the season to be a success, just like Season 3, Season 2, and Season 1 were. And without them, I don't know if, the show would really be able, or I would think of it as keeping up to the same kind of level that it's been at as it's been going through. So some things I expect to see in Season 4. I really want to see as well, too. So the first thing is I expect to see the season feel fresh, There's some things about it with the trailer that, in watching it, one thing that's really cool is the amount of walkers that there are. That's really cool to see that. Some of the characters do feel fresh. Michonne, for me, feels fresh to a degree because we really didn't see that much of her on Rick's side in Season 3. She kind of came in, most of the way through the season, and we didn't really get to see a whole lot with her doing her own thing until pretty far later on there when we got to the end. Aside from that, a lot of the time she was kind of like, I don't know, she was in between, but it'll be nice to see how she gets along with the other characters in the group and really becomes a character in the group. So that'll be cool to see with regards to her. Tyrese, it'll be cool to see with him some of the the different sides to him. The side with Karen, apparently it is from what we've seen in the new trailer, and what happens with that if Sasha is going to die, which I expect she will, and then how he'll react to that and eventually probably separate up the group away from Rick, or he'll have his own splinter group, let's say, or maybe Daryl will, and Rick will have his own that will stay at the prison. Now, that being said, it's got to feel fresh. We don't want it to feel like Season 3 all over again, because the characters were at the prison all the way through Season 3, and it does look like they've pretty much taken care of this, so this one probably won't be too much of a problem, because there are going to be new characters as a part of Rick's group, right? The prison does look a good amount different. It doesn't look the same as it did in Season 3, which is a good thing. And the amount of walkers that are coming up to the fences doesn't feel the same. Herschel's got his own little farm inside the gates now. They've rebuilt a good portion of it. They've got, the layout is a lot different. You've got like for example, on the fence, they'll have their, their knives or whatever ready to go at any time. And of course, there's going to be a lot more characters in the group, at least at the beginning, until it splits up or until certain things start happening and they, like they say, lose 12 of their own. So I don't think this is going to be a problem, but definitely it has to feel fresh. A lot of people wanted them to leave the prison last season. I kind of knew they weren't going to because of how long the prison story arc is in the comic book series. One season for it wouldn't really make sense. But the pace they were going was pretty fast, so I think a lot of people wanted to see the resolution of the governor's story arc, or at least something happened with it. Luckily, Woodbury is gone, so in terms of it feeling new or feeling fresh and not feeling repetitive, Woodbury is not there anymore, so that won't be a problem. Those new characters, Michonne fitting in, all of the new ones with Tyrese and everybody, Bob Stuckey getting some time, that will be cool to see, and that I think will really help the show feel very fresh. The governor, we better see some change in him as well. Otherwise, if he hasn't changed at all, then again, it won't be very interesting. So we'll see what happens with that. That should be a lot of fun. And I think they'll manage to keep the show fresh, even though they're still in the same location, which eventually they will leave the prison, and hopefully it'll be this season as well, which would also help with this as well, because we don't want it to be repetitive. This one kind of goes without saying, but I expect to see more zombie kills. With the amount of walkers we've seen in the trailers and stuff, I would think we're going to see more zombie kills than we have in the previous seasons. I think that's pretty much a guarantee that we will, but that's something I expect to see as well too. In addition to that, I want to see more environments, and I think we're going to. But I expect to see, the governor in a different place, a different state of mind, the characters branch out looking for food and things of that nature. There were reports that they were filming at the power plant, the big spot, just lots of different places. And I think that that's really a lot of fun to see different environments in a zombie apocalypse like this with The Walking Dead, with the set designs and everything. So that's something as well, and that will also relate back to it not feeling repetitive and it feeling fresh as well, as to see some different environments. Next expectation is resolution of the governor, war between the governor and Rick and the whole bit. I really want to see the governor's whole story arc be wrapped up this season. I expect for it to finish at some point and the governor to be killed, or something happens to the point where he's rendered useless or basically not in the show anymore. I don't really want to see him as a villain stick around for more than season 4. If he's still around in season 5 or season 6, it won't feel very fresh. It'll feel very repetitive having him around all the time. He's not really a character like Negan. He's got his group at Woodbury. Yeah, he had that. He's lost that now in the TV series. But Negan is a villain you could have around for a few seasons, I think, as like a big bad. The governor doesn't feel like a big bad anymore, so I want to see some resolution to that. I want to see the governor get killed or something of the sort happen with that, not in the same way that we saw at the end of season 3 where it was left open. I think a lot of people were disappointed in that, and I expect to see some resolution from that this season, so hopefully we will. I also expect to see the group separate, which we haven't gotten official confirmation that that's going to happen. I expect for it to happen, and I would like to see it as well, because I think that it makes it more interesting because of the amount of people that Rick has right now. The governor's not really a threat to him, and it'll be nice to see if we can get a couple storylines going at the same time. I think that's a lot of fun, that all kind of intertwine with each other. It's a very interesting technique, and it really works well with these 1-hour drama episode type shows, especially in the zombie apocalypse. So I hope to see that as well too, and I expect to. More horror, more thrills, more thrilling. A lot of season 3, I can honestly say, was not that thrilling. I think the most thrilling episode, or the scariest episode of The Walking Dead, was probably the premiere for season 2 on the highway where all the walkers come down. Aside from that, I can't really say that too much else in the show has been like really terrifying or horrifying. Maybe the death of Lori. That was, yeah. There's been a few here and there, but I want to see more, really scary stuff, because that's what one of the, the shock value, the really scary scenes and writing is some of the best stuff, the suspense in this show. So I want to see them get back to that more, and I hope to see that. I expect to see that in season 4. So that's another thing. Next one is more comic book characters. So I expect to see Abraham, Rosita, and Eugene this season, and probably just the Hunters, more characters from the comic book coming on board with this season. I expect to see that as well, and I want to see a big definitive, or I expect to see a big definitive governor and battle this season, season 4. I hope we do get to see it. I hope they don't, chintz out sort of. Did they chintz out last year in season 3? Not really, but the way it was shot could have been done a lot better, and I expect to see a tank as well. So that's another thing I expect to see from the comic books. Okay, and then in addition to that, really, the only other thing I expect to see is more villains other than just the governor. I don't think it would be that exciting to see a whole season, or that thrilling to see an entire season of just the governor again. And again, to make it feel fresh, they should probably be bringing in more villain characters here and there as we go along. So those are pretty much all of my expectations at the moment for what I expect to see in season 4. I hope it does live up to all of our expectations. I hope that Scott Gimple, as a showrunner, is able to do what Glenn Mazzara was able to do, or Frank Darabont in the earlier seasons, and really bring that heart back to the show. I, for some reason, feel like in a few ways, the heart for the show in the second half of season 3, aside from with Daryl and Merle, which was very touching. Andrea, somewhat, I guess. But for me, it just seems like a little bit it's lost that great, character struggle and really character-driven stories in exchange for more action. And I want to see a lot of action too with the zombie kills and everything like that. But I want to see some really good character struggle and development and change. I think that's the most exciting thing there is change. Like we got to see from Shane in Season 2, for example, and Season 1 a little bit too. So that'll be another thing as well too to look forward to seeing it. And I hope it's a really good season. I hope it doesn't let us down. It's pretty much the biggest drama type series on cable. So that's pretty awesome that they've been able to get to that point. Now they just kind of got to keep it there. I think they will. I expect them to. But I do think that Season 3 finale was a little bit of a disappointment. Just a little bit. I mean, it wasn't terrible or anything like that. But I did a video talking about that, and a lot of people agreed, I think most people agreed, that the Season 2 finale was better, and it was a little bit of a disappointment. So we'll see where it goes from here. I do have high hopes and high expectations for Season 4, and I hope they don't let me down. Anyway, let me know what you guys expect to see in The Walking Dead Season 4. Wanted to do this video. It was a viewer-suggested one. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say. That's everything I pretty much expect to see and hope to see. I'll call it here. That's it for this video, guys. I'll see you for the next one. This was Trev, and I'm saying peace.